I saw this saying the other day, and I've never related to something so much in my life. And the saying is something that I think I've probably seen many times in my life, and it's the title of the video. So you'll already know what it is. It is a jack of all trades, but master of none. And this is like the concept and the idea that you just do loads of different things and you put yourself in many different areas, and yet you're not perfect at anything. You're not outstanding at this one thing, and it's something that I can relate to and feel a lot. And I don't know if it gets me down or not, because in some aspects it kind of does. The sort of idea behind it is, you know, those people who are like the absolute best at one thing. They play the piano to absolute perfection. They are incredible at art and drawing and painting, and that's the one thing that they do. They just hone in on that one thing and perfect it to just their absolute limit. Like whether it be running or a certain sport, basketball or something, these people who can just be the absolute best at this one thing, and they are so content within that one thing. I feel like there's not one thing in my life that I am above average at. I think I'm okay at a bunch of different things, but I would not put myself in the top of any field. I would not think I am better at one singular thing. And this isn't me trying to like sympathy bait. This is me just having a genuine open conversation, because that is all this channel is. It's just me spewing my thoughts and seeing who can relate, and we chat about things in the comments and stuff like that. So please don't, I'm not trying to sympathy bait, but I feel like, so let's take video editing for example. But I think I'm okay at video editing. I think I'm maybe slightly above average, but I wouldn't even put myself like that higher than average. And me talking about this now, I think I'm realizing that this very much relates back to the whole concept of comparison sort of killing your joy, because where my comparison for editing comes from, and my sort of lack of confidence in my own skill, comes from watching other people's videos. I've said it a few times online, but when it comes to my gaming videos, I think, oh, I'm finally getting better, they're finally getting good, and then I go watch a Russian Badger video, or just someone else who's got some crazy editing. Like, I love my walking channel, I love the cinematography and stuff like that, but then I click on YouTube and I get hundreds of other ones that are 10 times better in their colour grading and their pacing and in the sort of shots and edits that they do. And so it is a lot of comparison, but at the same time it also comes from a place of not honing myself into one thing. You know, I am very much known for now, like within my community, and my mates sort of laugh about it, of the amount of YouTube channels I have. At the minute, I have a gaming funny moment one, I have this commentary one, I have a stream VODs channel, I have a walking channel, a solo gaming channel, I have a walking, did I already say the walking channel? I can't actually remember, but I've got a walking channel, and I've got a channel where I talk about films, and I talk about anime and books and manga and stuff. Outside of content, I'm trying to write a book, I'm trying to get better at that, and I've had little ADHD spurts here and there where I've wanted to try and learn music, and I've wanted to create some form of like electronic music, because I really love at the minute ambient music and like experimental electronic stuff. But so I've had like spouts of trying to learn that, but one thing that I noticed throughout is, no matter what area it is I'm in, I'm not above average at anything. Nothing that I do. I go to the gym, but I'm not like that strong. I barely lift more than someone who probably doesn't even go to the gym. I'm okay at cooking. I try and cook most nights for me and my girlfriend now that we've moved out, but I also wouldn't say that I'm an exceptional cook or I'm above average. I just know how to follow a recipe and do the bare minimum, maybe just a bit more than the average person. It's this whole thing again and again of just maybe slightly above average, but nowhere even close to being a master of it. And I can't decide if I like that or not. I can't decide if it's better to be a jack of all trades, be able to do a bunch of different things and not be great or perfect at anything. I don't know if it would drive me insane to just try and stick to one thing. But then at the same time, there's so many things and examples where it's better or beneficial to stick to one thing. For example, it's like it even comes down to the YouTube algorithm in a way, and the social media algorithm, in the sense of, I've always been told, and it's always been very clear to me, that niches work. Like, no matter what you're in, niches work. So for me, within gaming content, if I wanted to blow up or just like get consistently bigger, better views and go viral, etc., I would be better off sticking to one game. I'd be better off just rinsing Fortnite for everything that it's worth and not touching any other game, because then everyone always knows that they'll come to me for the Fortnite funny moments. But instead, I don't want to stick myself down to one thing. I don't want to be known as the guy of one game, of, oh, that's the Fortnite funny moments guy. I want to be able to be known for just myself and not be stuck to one game, and be able to play anything I want and people still enjoy it. So it comes down to that. And yet at the same time, if I wanted to grow and I wanted to, improve my numbers or analytics or whatever that might be, then I would stick to one thing. And that comes down to, I think I've mentioned it before on this channel, but I once read a book called Essentialism, and essentially the entire thing around that book is how you should sort of just hone in on the one or two things that you definitely want to. If you've got multiple hobbies, you're never gonna push it forward. It's sort of like if you were a business owner. If you had 10, 15 different businesses, for example, which would be stupid. No one would do that. But even if you had 3, 4, 5 businesses with different products and different moving parts and cogs turning and things like that, you would never physically be able to push every single one of those to an absolute, like, huge mega corporation. Whereas if you just sort of picked one and stuck to that and put all your time and energy and effort into that, then it's got more of a chance of blowing up, because your energy's more focused and more pinpointed. But I don't know if that's enjoyable in my life. It might honestly be down to who you are and what you enjoy. I don't like to self-diagnose. I hate that social media has sort of breeded this self-diagnosing thing. But I do think there's parts of my brain that are a little bit ADHD. Not in the sense of like being erratic or hyperactive or anything like that, but just in the way that my brain shoots off in 100 different directions. And I'm like, I hyperfixate on something new that's come in. And I just, like, my brain is all over the place when it comes to what to do and what to create and things like that. So maybe that has a factor to play into it, but like I say, I don't know if it's a good thing or not to have that. It probably means that you limit yourself in your ability to absolutely perfect and get the best as you can at one thing. But maybe, like I say, it comes down to who you are. Maybe you are happy and like fine with doing the one thing. Me personally, I know that if I was just doing gaming content and I was just doing that one thing, I would get so bored, I would burn out, I would resent it, creatively it would not fulfill me at all. There's got to be a balance or a middle ground somewhere, I feel like, where you can do everything you want to do. And you don't necessarily have to be a master of it, but you can at least be above average, potentially. But I'm interested. Let me know. Are you someone who does just like the one thing and feels like you are, like, not in an egotistical way, but you are better at that one thing? It's like at school, I feel like I was sort of bang average across everything. I would get sort of B's, C's across the board in every subject. I might have got an A or an A star in IT, I think, but everything else was just B and C. which some people would be like, that's really good. You pass everything, you got like it's at a decent level across the board. But then you have other people who might get C's or D's or B's at these other subjects, but then they have like one or two, like maths, they always get an A star, and that's their mastery. So they might be lacking in art, for example, but they're absolutely smashing it in maths. So I feel like it says a lot about you with what grades you got at school, and that explains for me like how that fits in with me, and like I say, I was very average across the board. So like anyway, back to what I was saying, let me know in the comments, are you someone who is that one, you've got that one thing that you absolutely love? Or are you sort of like me, all over the place? I always say it about my collection as well, like I'm a collector of things at this point. Like I have small collections of everything, but if I just picked one thing and collected that, then I feel like my collection would be magnificent. It'd be absolutely incredible of that one thing. Like I've got a decent collection of records now. I think I have sort of 150, potentially like climbing up to 200 records. I have loads of DVDs, I have loads of books, but then I also have bits of quite a few sets of Lego, pop vinyls, manga now. Like I'm so thinly spread with what I'm collecting, but then at the same time I wouldn't just want a room full of records. I want to be able to like look in my room and see all different things. So I don't know, maybe it is like I wouldn't just want to sit in a library of books. I like to have all these different things. I'd love to know if someone like has done psychology at school or something and watches this and can like actually tell me like what the science behind this is in my brain, because I'm genuinely curious. I would genuinely be interested if you're able to shed any light on it. But yeah, I'm interested to see what side most people are on.